So probability, this and can be taken as an experimental approach. So when we do experiments, we can find out certain way how to find out the probability. So the concept of probability developed in a very strange manner in 1654. A gambler Chevalier de Mere approached a well-known 17th century French philosopher and mathematician Mr. Pascal, Blaise Pascal, regarding certain die problem. So Pascal became interested in these problems and he studied them, and he discussed this with another French mathematician, de Fermat. Both Pascal and Fermat solved the problem independently, and this work was the actual beginning of probability theory. So the first book on the subject was written by Italian mathematician J. Cardan, and the title of the book was Book on Games of Chance, published in 1663. And there are other contributions also by Bernoulli, by Laplace, by Markov, by Kolmogorov, and we'll see about mostly the coin and a dice. So a fair coin has a head or a tail on its face. A die has 1 to 6 dots in its face because there are six faces of a cube, so there are 6 faces, and whatever comes when you throw it or toss it, this will be termed as outcome. So we will try to measure the chance of occurrence of a particular outcome in an experiment. First, let us take say any coin, toss it 10 times, and note how many times does head or tail come up, and record your observation here. The number of times the coin has been tossed is 10. Number of times, say 6 times head has come, 4 times the tail has come. This you can write, right? So you just write down the values. That is, first of all, in both the cases, we have to write total number of times the coin was tossed in both of them. Say 10 times, right? Now 6 times head has come up, so 6. Say 4 times the tail has come up. So this is how we write. Then do it for 20 times. Then go for as many as times you want. So if you approach say 100 or 500 or say 1000 times do you toss a coin, you see that the head and tail probability, which is the number of times the head has come divided by total number of times the coin was tossed, and the number of times the tail has come divided by total number of times the coin was tossed, you'll see they will approach 0.5. They will approach 0.5. So now you can just do some other activity, and you see when we have a group, a number of heads has come 3, number of tails has come 12, and if you divide this, means try to find out the cumulative probability of head. So this is 3 by 12 plus 3, that is 15, and cumulative number of tails will be, so 12 is 12, so 12 by 15, total is 15. And now see, when you do it next time, the other group does next time. Now 7 plus 3 is the total number of heads, and how many times it has been done? So 15 plus 15, 30. So 10 by 30. In the similar case, this is 8, but previously it was 12, so 12 plus 8 cumulative we are adding, and cumulative times 15, 15, that is 30. 20 by 30. Again we add 7 plus 7 plus 3, that is 7 plus 7 plus 3, and then we divide it by 17, that is 17, divided by 15 plus 15 plus 15, that is 45. Again for the tails also will do the same thing, and we see when we go on and on and on, the number becomes nearer to 0.5. If you do it for the die also, die, as I said, is a cube having 6 faces. The faces will contain number from 1 to 6, or there are number marked 1 to 6. So 1 to 6 can come up. So you can record the observation like this. You can do you can throw the die and you see how many number of times this 1 has come, 2 has come, 3 has come. and you can just go on and on, like number of time 1 has come, total number of times the die is thrown, 2 turn up, 3 turn up, 6 turn up, like this. So if you throw say dice 40 times or 100 times or number of times, as many as times you want, and if you go higher and higher, you say that the probability of getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 becomes 1 by 6. So this is also a cumulative version. You can just add how many times 1 has been thrown, then you can accumulate it, you can accumulate it the next time. So totally the cumulative number of times the 1 has turned up divided by the total number of times the die has been thrown is going to be near 1 by 6. And this is true for not only 1, this is true for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay? And we can do some other activities just to indicate that the probability is an experimental fact. If you go on and on and increasing the number of observation, you'll see it will come nearer to what it should be. That is, if head and tail are the possibility, that is, we have two possibilities. Head possibility is 1, this becomes 0.5. This is the probability of getting head, and the probability of getting tail is similarly 1 by 2, which is 0.5. So probability of getting head or tail is 0.5. So what is a trial? Tossing a coin is a trial, throwing a die is a trial, and a trial is an action which will result in one or various or several outcomes. The possible outcome of say tossing a coin is head and tail. In the throwing of dice, the possible outcomes are 1 to 6. So the event getting a head or a tail in an event is this outcome is in an event, right? Getting a tail is also an event with outcome as tail. So you are talking about event. So event is, you can say an event for an experiment is the collection of some outcomes of the experiment. So empirical or experimental probability, when we have some background, we have done certain experiments, we have done some certain trials. So the experimental or empirical probability, let us take n be the total number of trials, that is this is n. The empirical probability, that is p bracket e, this is empirical probability of event e happening, is given by number of trials in which that event happened. Please understand, not number of trials, but in number of trials. Say you did trials for 10 times and that particular event occur only 2 times, so it will be 2 and this is 10. So total the number of trials in which the event happened, you have to put it here, and the total number of trials you have to put it here, right? So this is the probability, which is the number of times that event has occurred and that the total number of trials which has been performed. We'll take